It was an amazing kid proving that Islam is true in 25 seconds. And here he is.
Christian or an atheist, I can prove to you that Islam is the one true religion in 25 seconds. The Quran was revealed 1400 years ago, and it predicted that Islam would become the largest religion, and Islam is now the largest religion in the world. It also predicted that the Romans would beat the Persians in their war, and that did happen.
Hey, we're not responding to this yet, AP. No responding, even with your laughter. Even with your laughter. Okay, back to this young genius. What's up with those glasses, by the way? You gotta get like mine, kid.
Bear with me, okay? Because it also said that we would have iron come from space, and now we know that meteors have iron and they come to space and they hit the Earth. It explains perfectly the expansion of the universe and that it's ever expanding. We found that out just in the last 100 years. Like, these are miracles that you cannot deny. If this wasn't the one,
you cannot deny them, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot deny these miracles. These miracles. This is what he's taught. And guys, keep in mind, you don't have to. As lame and terrible as this is to anyone who's been through this 1,000 times, keep in mind this is just Muslims bombarded him with this stuff, and he instead of looking up what they said, he believed it, and so he's kind of a victim. On the one hand, I mean, you're responsible for your own actions. So if you are not capable of looking this stuff up, that's on you, because this stuff is not hard to find. Usually you just have to look up what the Quran actually says and see how embarrassingly terrible it is. But they don't. They say, it's a miracle. It's, oh my goodness, it's so powerful. All the scientists in the world have agreed on this. And there are just people who go, really? Wow, okay, I want to convert to that. And then they go and repeat it like this. So this is what I mean, guys.
I don't mean any disrespect, but if you believe this kind of stuff, you probably have brain damage or something. Because seriously, I don't even get it. I usually think that when something like this comes from Muslims, from born Muslims, it is one thing, because it's kind of a cultural thing that restricts them to thinking Islam good and all that, Islam right. But for a Western person, for a Western individual to actually come with these talking points, it's rather embarrassing and borders on being like intellectually incapable. So it's embarrassing.
True religion, it would not be able to predict these things 1400 years ago.
This is what really sealed the deal for him, ladies and gentlemen. Back it up.
Miracles I'm going to tell you are what really sealed the deal for me, proving that Islam is the truth and all other religions are false. The Quran perfectly explains how we have pain receptors all throughout our skin. It perfectly explains that fingerprints are all different, and it also explains how the human embryo is formed. Now remember, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who the Quran was revealed to, was illiterate and did not know how to read and write, and was severely uneducated.
And
David,
a child molester.
David,
What?
Here's the thing. I will prove to everyone in 10 seconds that Islam is false. And this is like, nobody can deny this. This is just undeniable. This is undeniable proof. I will prove to everyone in just 10 seconds that Islam is false. And in these 10 seconds, these undeniable proofs will just show, and will show that Islam is false. And anyone who still after that believes that Islam is true clearly has a problem with the truth. So here is my proof that Islam is false. In chapter 9, verse 30, the Quran says that the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, and Christians say Messiah is the son of Allah. This is clearly not true. Jews don't say Ezra is the son of Allah. There you go.
That's it.
Islam is false.
That's it. And note, AP's case is actually better, because he's right. The Quran does say that. 2, he gave a reference, which this guy doesn't. Unfortunately, I know the references. And 3, it's actually what the Quran says is in fact false.
Yeah.
And so if AP,
here's the thing.
What AP just did in 10 seconds is actually a massively better argument than what the kid just gave there so far.
Yeah. And you could now sit down and argue about this and try to explain it. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. In 10 seconds, I've already debunked it. That's it.
Too late. And no one can refute him. Watch what he's about to say. Watch this. Ready?
If someone was uneducated, did not know how to read and write, how would they possibly be able to predict things like that? Even the greatest scientists that we have known in history have not been able to make predictions of that accuracy. And then if you just decide to look at the religion logically, it is clear as day that Islam is the one true religion. You cannot prove me wrong.
Did you
was illiterate and did not know.
Okay, so everyone got that, and you can't refute him. It's too powerful. So that's the full video, ladies and gentlemen. Now, all right, we ready to go through these?
The Quran was revealed 1400 years ago, and it predicted that Islam would become the largest religion, and Islam is now the largest religion in the world.
Here's me asking Grok that question. What is the world's largest religion? Grok's response, this is Grok 3, the world's largest religion is Christianity, with an estimated 2.4 billion followers globally. That's one. And I asked Google as well. Google has its own AI. I asked the same question. What is the world's largest religion? The world's largest religion is Christianity, with approximately 2.3 billion followers, followed by Islam with 1.9 billion adherents. His first argument, his lead-off argument, the Quran says that Islam will be the biggest religion in the world, and Islam is the biggest religion in the world. On what planet? Because it's not this one. There are actually other issues at work here, because AP, we've seen in the past that you've got the avalanche of apostasy.
It is happening. It is happening continuously. It is going to become an avalanche, a tsunami.
His first argument actually has a false premise. It's false.
Predicted that the Romans would beat the Persians in their war, and that did happen.
The Quran predicted that the Romans would beat the Persians in their war, and that did happen. That did happen. This is their go-to prophecy. Whenever they're trying to show some sort of miraculous prophecy, this is their number one. This is their go-to. It's the Roman Empire. What are the odds if the Romans lose something? They may come back and actually win in a later battle.
Oh, it's impossible.
I don't know, pretty darn good, because that's what they did for centuries. I could claim to be a prophet right now, and I say, the Republicans just had a big victory in the elections, but the Democrats will eventually have a victory. And then as soon as someone wins a political race or something like that, a couple years from now, I say, you see, this is the proof. That's what happens when you have two groups that are kind of comparable in strength and so on, so that they're going back and forth, so that they go back and forth repeatedly. And then you say, oh, this one won, but this one will too. This one will win later. Great. Yeah. It takes a prophet to know something like that, right? Even if it was correct and the Quran said that this is going to happen, you're basically, I don't even want to call it a coin flip, because it's not like 50-50 on whether the Romans are going to win a future battle. If I had to estimate the odds, I would say, like, I don't know, 90-some% chance that the Romans are going to come back and win some sort of battle over the Persians. So it wouldn't take a genius, but we've got more problems than that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and read the Quran. So it's the Quran. Aleph Lam Min. The Romans are vanquished in a near land, and they, after being vanquished, shall overcome within a few years. Allah's is the command before and after, and on that day the believers shall rejoice. Got that? So the Romans are vanquished. They lost against the Persians in battle in a near land, and they, after being vanquished, shall overcome. Check this out, guys. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, 5762. Some people asked Allah's messenger about the foretellers. He said, they are nothing. They said, "O Allah's messenger, sometimes they tell us of a thing which turns out to be true." So Muhammad, it's not that they're making predictions and we can't test them. They're making predictions, and sometimes they're telling us things that are happening and they turn out to be true. What do we do? Allah's messenger said, so he has to explain why these guys get their predictions about the future correctly. He says, Allah's messenger said, a jinn snatches that true word and pours it into the ear of his friend, the foreteller, as one puts something into a bottle. The foreteller then mixes that word with 100 lies. People who are predicting the future can have actually divine, supernatural knowledge about the future, and you still shouldn't believe them because they're combining it with a bunch of lies. Should we believe in Islam because of that? But not according to the principle. He's saying it doesn't matter if you predict the future accurately if it's combined with a bunch of lies. But there are more problems, ladies and gentlemen. You've got hadiths which say that Muhammad received this amazing prediction after it already happened. Narrated Abu Sa'id, on the day of the Battle of Badr, the Romans had a victory over the Persians. So the believers were pleased with that. Then the following was revealed. Aleph Lam Mim. The Romans have been defeated, up to his saying, the believers will rejoice. He said, so the believers were happy with the victory of the Romans over the Persians. Guys, read this carefully. When did Muhammad receive this revelation, according to Jami at Tirmidhi 2935? After the Persians won against the Romans? Did Muhammad receive the revelation after the Persians defeated the Romans, and then he predicted that the Romans would come back and defeat the Persians? Is that what happened? What's it say? Narrated Abu Sa'id. On the day of the Battle of Badr, the Romans had a victory over the Persians. What is this? This is after the Romans won their victory. After the Romans came back and won, that's when Muhammad received his revelation saying, oh yeah, the Romans will make a comeback and defeat the Persians. So again, guys, what do you have here? One, Muhammad himself says if someone accurately predicts the future, that does not mean you believe the guy, because he could actually be getting a revelation from something demonic and be adding lies to it. So you shouldn't believe someone if he accurately predicts the future. That's one. Two, what are you talking about? You're talking about like a coin flip. At worst, it's a coin flip on whether the Romans are going to come back and win a battle at some point in the future. I would say significantly better odds the Romans are going to come back and win some sort of battle. And then you've got hadiths saying that Muhammad received this after it already happened.
Now bear with me, okay? Because it also said that we would have iron come from space. And now we know that meteors have iron and they come to space and they hit the earth. It explains.
Why are you laughing, AP?
How many times do we have to debunk this nonsense? This absolute nonsense. Absolute, complete, ridiculous nonsense. The Quran doesn't say that that iron comes from outer space.
I got the passages right here, baby. And we sent down iron. They say, oh, sent down iron. We sent down iron. Oh my goodness, Allah sent down iron. What's that mean? It means that iron forms in stars and then eventually gets sent out. How could they have known this? How could they have known this? What happens when you actually start at the beginning? Indeed, we sent our messengers with clear signs, and we sent down with them the book and the balance so that men might uphold justice. What does sent down mean? According to the argument, when he says sent down iron, it means sent down from outer space. And how could Muhammad have known that iron comes from outer space? Suppose that when the Quran said that Allah sent down iron, it actually meant sent down from outer space. And you said, how could anyone have known this? How could anyone have known that iron comes from outer space? Guess what? Everyone knew that. To the ancient Egyptians, iron was known as metal of heaven. It was known as metal from heaven. The ancient cultures, they all called it something like metal from the sky or metal from heaven or something like that. Why? Because it came from meteorites. But here, to the ancient Egyptians, iron was known as the metal of heaven, says the University College London. In the hieroglyphic language of the ancient Egyptians, it was pronounced ba and pet, meaning either stone or metal of heaven. For thousands of years, before they learned to smelt iron ore, Egyptians were crafting beads and trinkets from it, harvesting the metal from fallen meteorites. If the Quran got this right, he would just be saying something that everyone else already thought. Problem is, it's not what the Quran is saying at all. The Quran isn't even saying that iron came from space. Let's check out the various uses of Allah sending things down. Ready? 222. Who has made the earth your couch and the heavens your canopy and sent down rain from the heavens? 257. And we caused the white cloud to overshadow you and sent down on you the manna and the quails. 39:6. He created you all from a single person, then created of like nature his mate, and he sent down for you 8 head of cattle in pairs. Where do cows come from? Where do cows come from, ladies and gentlemen? According to our Muslim friends, outer space. Space cows. 726. O children of Adam, we have indeed sent down to you clothing to cover your shame. 544. We sent down the Torah. Space Jews. Their Torah. This is why they're so powerful. Their book came from outer space. You see?
That's why they have the space lasers.
That's why they have the space lasers. That's why we can't defeat them. Their book came from outer space. Guys, we've been through his first 3. What did he get right? He got 0 right. These are absolutely pathetic. These are standard dawah arguments. They're extremely easy to refute.
It explains perfectly the expansion of the universe and that it's ever expanding. We found that out just in the last 100 years. Like these.
No, the Quran does not say that the universe is expanding. This is the verse that Muslims say says that the universe is expanding. Just look at these translations. We have built, this is Pickthall. We have built the heaven with might, and we it is who make the vast extent thereof. Where does that say the universe is expanding? Sher Ali, and we have built the heavens with our own hands, and verily we have vast powers. This is pathetic and just outright lazy. What powerful points does he have left?
Miracles that you cannot deny. If this wasn't the
He just said these are miracles that we cannot deny. We went through 4 of them. They were the dumbest things ever, but they're standard dawah. It's not like, oh, he's dumb. He's like easily manipulated and gullible and obviously doesn't do his research and believes what anyone says. But this is not just like stupid things that kids say. This is straight from Zakir Naik and Ahmed Deedat and so on. It just tells you about the ummah and how gullible they were to fall for this stuff. And sadly, people are still falling for it. But this kid thinks this stuff is really irrefutable.
one true religion, it would not be able to predict these things 1400 years ago. And these last 3 miracles I'm going to tell you are what really sealed the deal for me, proving that Islam is the truth and all other religions are false.
Here we go.
Quran perfectly explains how we have pain receptors all throughout our skin. It perfectly explains that.
Okay, the Quran, pain receptors, ladies and gentlemen. Fortunately, I have the verse. You ready? Here's what it says. Chapter 4, verse 56. Lo, those who disbelieve our revelations, we shall expose them to the fire. As often as their skins are consumed, we shall exchange for them fresh skins that they may taste the torment. Lo, Allah is ever mighty, wise.
Here you see a hand, right? Now, if I do the following here, if I do this, and like hurt my skin here, and grab it, and it hurts. Here, I realize that putting pain and pinching my skin actually hurts me and causes pain.
How could you know that?
ChatGPT, how is this miraculous knowledge possible?
This is just so whatever. Okay.
Yeah, guys, think about that. So the miracle here is knowing that you feel pain in your skin, which anyone in the world could know just by going like that, or anyone who's ever touched something hot in a fire and so on. So the argument would be, well, how could he know that if all your skin was burned off, that you wouldn't be able to feel pain, and therefore he would need to replace your skin with new skin? How could he know that if your skin is burned off? Well, keep in mind, even if you had no idea, you could think, wait, if I feel pain in my skin and my skin were all burned off, then yeah, how would I feel pain? So you could kind of figure it out. But there's another issue, ladies and gentlemen. There are people who have been burned in their lives, who've had skin burned to where all their pain receptors have been singed, and they don't feel pain in that spot anymore. They don't feel it. So in order to make this argument work, you'd have to say, one, that that's what the Quran is actually saying. It's talking about pain receptors, not saying anything like that. But if you assume it's talking about pain receptors and things like that or something, and how could anyone know that if your skin is burned off, you wouldn't feel pain there? You would have to say that Muhammad never anywhere in his life met a burn victim or ever heard from anyone who knew anything about a burn victim.
It perfectly explains that fingerprints are all different.
You want to see what the Quran actually says on this? Surah 75, 3-4. Does man think that we shall not gather his bones? Talking about the resurrection. Matter of fact, just go back to verse 1 so you see the context. Nay, I swear by the day of resurrection. Nay, I swear by the self-accusing soul. Does man think that we shall not gather his bones? Yea, we are able to make complete his very fingertips. What is the dawah takeaway from this? Oh my goodness, how could Allah know that every fingertip is... Where does it say anything like that? Fingerprints, fingerprinting, fingerprint science, all this. Where does it say any of that? All right, last one, ladies and gentlemen.
And it also explains how the human embryo is formed.
It explains how the human embryo is formed. So that's the last thing we'll look at. So here you have Surah 86, verses 5-6. So let man consider from what he has created. He is created from a gushing fluid, or he is created from a drop emitted. He is created from water gushing forth. That issued from between the loins and the ribs, or Yusuf Ali, proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs, proceeding from between the backbone and ribs, coming from between the back and ribs, Shakir. What is it saying? Guys, this is talking about where semen forms. Let man consider what he's created from. He's created from gushing fluid, drop emitted, water gushing forth, water pouring forth. This is how the Quran talks about semen. And where does semen come from? Proceeding from between the backbone and ribs. Where does semen form? Is it between the backbone and the ribs? Guys, figure out where your backbone is. Figure out where your ribs are. Between there, that's where semen forms. According to the Quran, O mankind, if you are in doubt concerning the resurrection, then lo, we have created you from dust, then from a drop of seed, that's the sperm, then from a clot, so there's a blood clot stage, then from a little lump of flesh, shapely and shapeless, that we may make it clear for you. And we cause what we will to remain in your wombs for an appointed time, and afterward we bring you forth as infants, then give you growth that ye attain your full strength, and so on. You guys got this so far? You're from dust, then from a drop of seed, so that's the semen, then from a clot. You know why people in the ancient world thought that there's a blood clot stage in the development? Because women have a monthly menstrual cycle and then it stops. And so, the blood must have clotted. And that must be when the baby's formed. And what does Muhammad put in here? Blood clot stage. Is that right? No, there is no blood clot stage. And that's why you have the modern scientific miracles dawah guys. I mean, again, they've abandoned it now.
I mentioned that the scientific miracles in the Quran got debunked. And for some odd reason, funnily enough, like as if they thought that it was a slip of the tongue. I'll repeat it again, very carefully. The scientific miracles argument in the Quran got debunked.
But before they abandoned it, they would try to translate that as something like a leech and say, oh, look, the embryo kind of looks like a leech over here and this and that. It's absolutely pathetic. It means blood clot, guys. It's a blood clot. And no, there is no blood clot stage in the development of an embryo. What do we have here? Verily, we created man from a product of wet earth. Okay. Then placed him as a drop of seed in a safe lodging. According to Muhammad, you are a drop of sperm for 40 days. Is that correct? No, that is scientifically false. And he copied it from the Talmud. Interesting. Then placed him as a drop of seed in a safe lodging. Then fashioned we the drop a clot, blood clot. Then fashioned we the clot a little lump. Then fashioned we the lump, little lump bones. Then clothed the bones with flesh. Notice what you have there. Then fashioned the little lump bones. So it's a lump. Then it becomes bones. Then the bones are clothed with flesh. So what comes first? Bones. Then the bones are clothed with flesh. So bones come first. Then Allah clothes the bones with flesh. That is scientifically false. Your bones and your flesh are forming at the same time during embryonic development. It's not one forms and then the other. So that's wrong. What do we have here? This one has thickened. It's actually mixed or mingled. So the Pickthall here, lo, we create man from a drop of thickened fluid to test him, so we make him hearing, knowing. No, this is talking. You go to one of these other ones. Verily, we created man from a drop of mingled sperm, mingled, in order to try him. Look at Hillel Khan. Verily, we have created man from nutfa drops of mixed semen. Sher Ali, mingled sperm. Khalifa, liquid mixture, and so on. Arbery, sperm drop, a mingling. Palmer, mingled clot, and so on. What is this referring to? We actually know. This is the massively stupid and completely debunked ancient theory it's called the two semens theory. And read the hadith. Muhammad says that women have their own semen. So men have semen, it's white, and women have semen, and it's yellow. And they mix together. And then whoever has the first orgasm, that determines which parent the child will resemble. And once the fluids have mixed, whichever one rises to the surface, this determines the sex of the child. This is all completely wrong. It's all completely idiotic nonsense. That's what we're dealing with, guys. So that was proving Islam in 25 seconds. Proving Islam in 25 seconds. Did he prove Islam in 25 seconds? I don't think that he did. And I think that's actually pathetic.